It's a comeback story straight out of the movies. To be more specific, straight out of a movie inspired by the man this comeback story is all about. Before Leigh Steinberg, who inspired the character and consulted on the movie Jerry Maguire, there was no such thing as a sports super agent. He was the original. Along the way, not only inking record-setting deals for his clients, but focusing on developing lasting charitable foundations for the athletes he represented. Steinberg would go on to become the sports world's undisputed #1 agent, representing 8 #1 NFL draft picks, 60 first-rounders, and 8 Hall of Famers. At one point, he represented half of the NFL's starting quarterbacks in the league. But in 2007, beset by family and personal problems, he turned to alcohol, eventually losing not only his business, but its certification to even represent NFL athletes.
So there had been a series of events in my personal life, not work life, because I expect problems and I don't really feel stressed doing what we're doing. It's exhilarating. My father died of cancer, a long death. My kids were diagnosed with severe eye problems. We lost a home to mold and had to smash it to the ground, and then I got divorced, and I felt powerless, that I couldn't do what a father should be able to do, protect his kids, what a son should be able to do, protect his father, what a husband should be able to do, which is keep a roof over our head, and then hold the marriage together. And I felt like Gulliver on the beach, tethered down, being stuck by Lilliputians. And I just took the wrong path. So I gave my practice to the younger agents, moved into sober living, and decided if nothing else, I'd be sober and I'd be a good father, and worked a 12-step program, and next month I'll be 6 years sober.
That 6 years came in March, and Steinberg's comeback was already underway. The plan was to make his return with a splash, sign a big-name athlete signifying his return. That big name proved elusive, however, until receiving a phone call 2 years ago from the family of a college football player who wasn't even on the radar. A quarterback from Memphis named Paxton Lynch.
Amazingly enough, his father called our office in October of 2014 trying to pick up information. And so that started the relationship. They were a very warm family, faith-based, good values, very close family with 2 boys, and the mom and dad, terrific people. And mostly I related to them, and then when it was time, a little bit before the season, we had a short meeting, and then after the season, we had a longer meeting. And we shared the same values. It's still possible to find young men who care about self-respect, sense of family and community, making a difference in the world.
Paxton didn't know a lot about Leigh either, although he did have some background.
Well, I knew about the movie. The first thing I knew about was the movie, and but I reached out to him after the Miami Beach Bowl last year, and then we kind of stayed in contact through the whole season this year, and he was spending time with my family at the games, him and Chris, and they just kind of built that relationship with my family. And then also I knew that Chris had a great resume, I guess you could say, of quarterbacks and first-round picks that he has represented, also giving back to the community where he's, where you've been from the athletes that he represented. He did a great job at making sure those guys gave back to where they're from, and the colleges and the universities they went to, and that's a big thing for me. I come from a small city. I want to give back to that community as well as University of Memphis.
When you did get to know Leigh a little bit better and better, what kind of made you realize that this is the right fit for me? It's just in addition to what you just said in terms of what he's done with a lot of athletes and giving back.
Well, the biggest thing for me was I'm a big family guy. I have a couple of close friends to me that are family as well, and he was just, always, it was just comfortable having him around my parents, and it wasn't always business. He was able, be laid back and hang out with the family, got to eat with us.
Just as the character Leigh inspired, whose comeback in the film was inextricably tied to the success of his one client who believed in him, now Leigh's comeback is in full swing, thanks to finding his own Rod Tidwell of sorts, in a bizarre twist of life imitating art. As for the comeback, Steinberg talked about his goals going forward.
I'm certainly not going to compete with my younger self, so I don't think I want to practice with 90 players in football, 60 in baseball, number of players in basketball, and 60 first-round draft picks in football and the very first pick in the draft 8 separate years. But there's a satisfaction that comes working with a young man, peeling back the layers of the onion, using good listening skills to be able to understand that person's deepest anxieties and fears and their greatest hopes and dreams.
So the man who served as the inspiration and behind-the-scenes collaborator for this character is now living out a similar plotline to the struggles of the character he inspired. We asked Paxton Lynch if he saw any similarities, but he's content to write his own story.
You said you've seen the movie Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
It's so often, we see, art imitating life, and in the case of Leigh's story, imitating art all over again. Mm-hmm. In any sense, do you feel like, you're the first big client he has for this comeback, and it's a big comeback for Leigh as well. Are you Rod Tidwell for Leigh?
I don't know who I am, but I know if there is a second movie, hopefully I can get a role. Somebody to play me, maybe Leonardo or Brad Pitt or something.
That'd be a good choice.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of Leo there.
Yeah.
So on draft day, when Paxton's name is called and the comeback for Steinberg is official, what will it feel like to officially be back in the game?
Wonderful. It's going to be joyful. Draft day has always been an amazing day. Hopefully we have the information to make it non-suspenseful, but you have the fruition of a lifetime with a player, his family, his friends, his coaches, everyone who's been part of that journey, and it all builds up. Nothing quite replicates that.
Everyone loves a good comeback story, and for sports fans in particular, this comeback is one we can all root for. A man who's championed the best of sports, from the fight to save teams like the A's and Giants to the battle on concussions, and helping establish countless charitable foundations. Sports' original super agent is back, and the time away, as painful as it may have been, might have been exactly what was needed.
Let's hear it for Paxton Lynch as well.